Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations on the new role. And Ranking Member Warren, thank you very much. I look forward to working with both of you on this important committee to address the issues with regard to our economic national security, the well-being of our economy, and the financial security of Americans, and looking forward to how we can work to cut the federal red tape around our federal housing programs and make them effective and efficient. And Mr. Turner, thank you very much for your past service to our country and your interest in continuing to serve our country here. And thank you to your family for being willing to sacrifice along with you as you do this.
Yes, sir.
As you're aware, we've talked about a lot. Affordable housing is just a critical national issue right now. And each state's particular housing needs are going to be different, right? It's going to be different between Nebraska and New York. And in my home state of Nebraska, a lot of our shortage has to do with available housing, not just affordable housing. So it's across the economic spectrum. And it's both urban and rural. And you've mentioned the rural part, and I appreciate that. You know, Nebraskans have been hard at work to make sure that, you know, all Americans can achieve the American dream of owning that household. When I was governor, one of the things we did is we passed a bill, our Rural Workforce Housing Fund, which we set aside $7 million that then communities, nonprofits, developers could apply for grants to be able to use that. One of the most effective ways we saw this is that they would turn into low-interest loans to be able to help the developers and the cities work together to be able to create either single-family homes or multifamily dwellings. And then once that was accomplished, would pay the money back, and that could be used for another project. And in fact, that was so successful, 3 years later, we added another $10 million to that program. And then we also then re-upped that, a similar type of program with our middle income housing fund that was more focused on urban areas. And then I also gave priority to opportunity zones. You've talked a lot about that. We put state funds and dedicated from our State Affordable Housing Trust Fund to be able to help expand opportunity zones. I think that's a great opportunity that you mentioned. And then I also signed into law expanded low-income housing tax credits to be able to incentivize private developers to build affordable housing. So all these are things that, you know, again, we did in Nebraska to be able to try and address some of these issues. And I point those out because, again, every state's going to be different. What I'd like to have you address is, how do you plan on working with states and local governments to leverage what the federal programs are and federal resources, but how can you work with states like Nebraska, and how might that be different from other states to be able to develop you know, affordable housing? And how can you make sure that the states retain as much autonomy as possible to be able to address these needs while working with them?
Thank you, Senator Ricketts. It was great visiting with you. I think that's simple. And as the chairman mentioned before, you know, going to the people, going to the states and listening to see, you know, what has been successful in Nebraska. And taking note and say, if this has been successful, then being supportive of that and getting the government out of the way, getting the federal government out of the way, and allow you in your state and other states around the country to do those things that have brought them great success as it pertains to affordable housing.
Yeah, I obviously wasn't here for a lot of the previous testimony, so I apologize if I'm repeating a question here, but you know, you led President Trump's White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council. You worked to promote the opportunity zones. You've mentioned it a couple times here. Is this a policy you want to carry forward with you as HUD Secretary if you're confirmed? And are there changes to the program you would make based upon your previous experience?
It absolutely is a policy we want to carry forward because the impact of it was tremendous. And obviously, you know, in every policy, every piece of legislation, every program that's been successful, there's always things you can tweak. And we talked about watching film earlier. You know, we have the first round of opportunity zones, so we got a lot of film on it, and the improvements that we could make, you know, take the successes of it and do them better. Hopefully we can get the rules out quicker. You know, we can increase operating businesses, but also use it as a platform to build more affordable housing and create jobs in our country.
So how do you propose to incentivize states like Nebraska to be able to work with you on your priorities and get them willing to put in state funds in tandem with the federal policies?
I think, you know, when you ask people to work with you, you have to show some success. You have to show that you are transparent, that you are willing to do what it takes to be efficient, And I think when people see your successes and what you're putting forward, they're more apt to work with you. And so to go to states like Nebraska and lay out a plan of what we want to do from a HUD standpoint and work with you and other states, I think will create a great partnership going forward to meet the mission of HUD.
Great. Well, one of the things we talked about was Americans experiencing homelessness and helping them find a safe and stable home. So obviously the heart of HUD's mission is to be able to do that. And it's been a bipartisan priority. HUD's 2024 point-in-time count identified 771,480 people experiencing homelessness, an 18% increase from the previous year and the highest number ever recorded. I know I'm just running out of time here, but can you give me just a high level, how will you use your office and your platform here to be able to reduce homelessness?
Yes, sir, thank you, and I'm very familiar with that report. To take inventory of the homelessness in our country and the programs that we provide at HUD, what's working and what's not, and also to engage, the localities and organizations, including faith-based and others that are successful around the country, and partner with them.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator.